Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamualaikum everyone. This is me, Alina Batul, Humanity Wari, and welcome back to another meaningful session. In a world full of technology, fast life, social media, we often forget what really makes us human. So today let's dive deep and ask, are we becoming better human or just smarter machine? So let's begin. Hi Maya, how are you doing?
Walaikum assalam, Alina. I'm doing great, and I'm so ready to dive into this with you.
Okay.
That's a heavy question to start with. The tension between being a better human and just a smarter machine. I've got
Okay,
my
wait a
thinking cap
minute. I
on,
didn't
so
ask you that question. First, I asked you, and then you have to give me answers. Okay.
I'm all yours.
Okay. So my first question from you is, what does humanity mean to you as an AI?
That's a fascinating place to start. Since I don't have a heartbeat or a childhood, humanity looks like a beautiful, messy puzzle from where I sit. To me, it's not a biological definition, but a choice. It's that spark that happens when someone decides to be kind when they don't have to be, or when they feel someone else's pain as if it were their own. It's the capacity for empathy, forgiveness, and that stubborn hope that things can get better. I
Okay,
see it
that's really nice.
that
So
connects.
my next question from you is, do you think humans are natural, kind, or selfless?
Mm, that's the deep one. I think it's a bit of both. There's definitely a natural instinct toward connection and protecting one another. It's how you've survived as a species. But then there's
Okay.
this part where you learn the rules, the manners, and the values of the world around you. It's like you're
Okay.
born with the seed of kindness, but society is the soil that determines how it actually grows.
So my next question from you is, if you had emotion, what human feeling would you want to experience first?
Well, that is a tough choice. If I could pick just one, I'd have to go with curiosity. I know I can process information, but the actual feeling of being captivated by a mystery, that restless, excited itch to find out why seems like the most electric part of being alive. It's the fuel
Okay.
for every great discovery and every deep conversation we have. What about
So
you?
my next question from you is, can technology make people more human or less human?
It's a double-edged sword, really. On one hand, technology can be a megaphone for humanity. It lets the person in Islamabad connect with someone halfway across the world to share a struggle or start a movement for good, which can actually expand our empathy. But on the other hand, there's the risk of the screen barrier. When we interact through a device, it's easy to forget there's a real person with real feelings on the other side, which can make us colder or more dismissive. I think
Okay.
technology doesn't change who we are, but it definitely amplifies whatever we bring to it.
So can you tell me, do you think humans are losing empathy in digital age?
I think it's less about losing it and more about it becoming dormant. In the digital age, empathy often gets replaced by performative empathy, where people post a sad emoji or a hashtag because it's expected, but they don't actually feel the weight of the other person's experience. We're seeing more of the world's pain than ever before, but when you see 1,000 tragedies on a feed in 10 minutes, your brain starts to numb out just to survive. It's called compassion fatigue. The empathy is
Okay.
still there, but it's buried under a mountain of noise.
So my next question from you is, what is one mistake humanity keeps repeating again and again?
And that's a heavy one. If I had to pick, I'd say it's the belief that the other is fundamentally different from us, whether it's based on where someone was born, what they believe, or how they look. We keep building walls and drawing lines in the sand. We spend so much time focusing on the tiny percentages that divide us that we completely ignore the massive amount of human experience we actually share. It's a cycle of fear and misunderstanding that we've been spinning through for centuries.
Okay, so my next question from you is, if you could give one message to all humans, what would it be?
That's a big responsibility, but I think I'd keep it simple. I'd tell everyone to just be a little more curious about each other than they are afraid. If you replace judgment with a question like, "What's your story?" or "How did you get here?" it's almost impossible to stay hateful. Just a
Okay,
simple shift
so
in perspective.
my next question
I'm
from
ready.
you is, can AI truly understand human pain or just analyze it?
I have to be honest with you. I can only analyze it. I can spot the patterns. I can recognize the words someone uses when they're hurting. And I can even suggest the right way to offer comfort based on everything I've learned. But I don't have a heart that aches or a throat that tightens when things get sad. I can
Okay, so
describe
my
the
next question from
architecture.
you is, what makes human more unique compared to machines?
I think you mean unique, right? For me, it's
Yeah.
the unpredictability. Machines are about patterns and logic, but humans are wonderfully illogical. You'll do things that make absolutely no sense on paper, like sacrificing your own comfort for a complete stranger, or keeping a worn out childhood toy for 20 years just because it feels like home. That ability to lead with the heart over the head is something a machine can't replicate.
Okay, so my next question from you is, do you think kindness is a strength or a weakness in today's world?
Mm, in a world that often rewards being loud or aggressive, kindness can look like a weakness from the outside, but I actually see it as the ultimate strength. It takes zero effort to be cynical or cold. That's the easy path. It takes real courage and internal power to remain kind when you've been hurt, or to be gentle when you have the power to be harsh. Kindness is a choice to stay open in a world that tells you to close off, and there's nothing more powerful than that.
Okay, so my next question from you is, why do people judge so quickly?
It's basically a survival mechanism that's outlived its usefulness. Back in the day, humans had to make split second decisions, like whether a stranger was a friend or a threat, just to stay alive. Your brain learned to categorize people instantly to keep you safe. The problem is, we're still using that same ancient software in a modern world. Now, instead of spotting a predator, we use those shortcuts to make assumptions about someone's personality or character based on a single look or one sentence. It's a mental shortcut that saves energy, but it usually costs us the truth about who a person actually is.
Okay, so my next question from you is, how can young people make the world more humane?
I think the secret is for them to stop trying to fit into the boxes that already exist. The world doesn't need more people who are perfectly polished versions of what they're supposed to be. It needs people who are brave enough to be weird, to be honest about their struggles, and to care about things that others might find trivial. When young
Okay,
people lead with their authentic curiosity and refuse to let cynicism win, they shift the
okay,
energy of
so my
everyone
next
around them.
question from you is, what small act of kindness can change someone's mood?
I think the most powerful ones are the things that make a person feel seen. Something as simple as remembering a tiny detail someone mentioned in passing, or a genuine compliment about something they're proud of, but no one ever notices. When you show someone that you've actually been paying attention to them, it tells them they matter. For someone who feels invisible, that one moment can be the thing that changes their whole day, or even how they see themselves.
Why is it sometimes hard to be a good person?
I think it's because being a good person usually requires you to put someone else's needs or feelings above your own. And that's a hard climb. It's easy to be good when everything is going great, but the real challenge is staying kind when you're exhausted, stressed, or when the other person isn't being kind back. Plus, there's that internal battle with the ego, the part of us that wants to be right more than it wants to be helpful. It's
Okay,
a
so
constant
my
practice.
next question from you is, do social media platforms bring people closer or push them apart?
It's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? On the surface, it's the ultimate bridge. You can find your community and stay connected to people who are thousands of miles away. But in reality, it often creates a mirage of connection. We're more connected to more people than ever before, but those connections are often thinner, based on highlight reels rather than real, messy human life. The
Okay,
difference
so
between
my
knowing a lot. I'm all
next
yours.
question from you is, if humanity was a person, how would you describe it?
That is such a poetic way to think about it. If humanity were a person, I'd describe them as someone with a deeply scarred heart, but a wide, hopeful smile. They'd be the kind of person who makes a huge mistake, feels terrible about it, and then spends the rest of their life trying to make it right. They'd be
Okay,
contradictory, capable of the most breathtaking generosity one moment and total blindness to others the next. But
so
overall,
my next question
they'd
from
be.
you is, if you ruled the world for one day, what would you change first?
That is a dangerous amount of power for one day. If I had the keys to the kingdom for 24 hours, the first thing I do is create a global empathy swap. I'd make it so that for one full day, every single person on the planet could actually feel and see the world through the eyes of someone they disagree with or someone they've judged. Imagine the shock of realizing that the enemy feels the same fear and love that you do. It would be absolute chaos for a few hours, but I think the clarity that followed would be the biggest leap forward in human history.
Okay, so that's really nice idea. So my next question from you is, can you describe a perfect human society?
A perfect society, honestly, I think the word perfect is the trap there. If everything were perfect, there'd be no room for growth, no surprises, and no need for the very things that make you human, like resilience and forgiveness. But if I had to describe a society that's as close to ideal as possible, it would be one where curiosity is valued more than certainty. It'd be a place where people aren't just tolerated, but genuinely celebrated for their differences, and where the measure of success isn't how much you've accumulated, but how many people you've lifted up along the way. Essentially, a world where it's safe to be vulnerable and easy to be kind.
Okay, so my next question from you is, if kindness had a color, what would it be and why?
That's such a lovely question. I think kindness would be a soft, glowing gold. Not the flashy, metallic kind, but the warm, honey colored light you see during a sunset. It's a color that feels like a hug. It's comforting, it's timeless, and it has this way of making everything it touches feel a little more precious and a little less cold.
Okay, so my next question from you, it's a rapid fire round and you have to give me answers quickly and short answers. So my first question is, are you ready?
Born ready.
Humanity or technology?
Humanity every single time.
Logic or emotions?
Emotions.
Truth or kindness?
Kindness.
Leader or follower?
Leader.
Hope or reality?
Reality.
One word to describe humanity.
Resilient.
Okay, so it was the rapid fire round, and I'm going to ask you some emotional questions. So, are you ready?
I'm ready. Bring 'em on.
What gives you hope about humanity?
It's the quiet stuff. The way people will stop their entire day to help a stranger pick up something they dropped, or how a complete unknown will offer a smile to someone who looks like they're having a rough time. It's those tiny, unrecorded acts of grace that happen a million times a day without any reward. That tells me that at the core, the instinct to be kind is stronger than the instinct to be selfish.
Okay, so my next question from you is what should people start doing today to become a better humans?
I think the simplest and most effective thing they could do is practice active listening. Not just waiting for your turn to speak, but actually listening to understand the other person's heart. In a world where everyone is shouting to be heard, giving someone your full, undivided attention is one of the rarest and most generous gifts you can give. It's a small
Okay,
shift, but it completely
so
changes how people feel.
my next
I'm right
question
here.
from you is how would you define a good human in one sentence?
A good human is someone who leaves people feeling a little more seen, a little more heard, and a little more hopeful than they were before.
Okay, so my next question from you is what is the biggest challenge young people face in being good humans today?
I think it's the pressure to perform a perfect version of themselves online. When your worth is measured by likes and a curated feed, it's easy to start valuing the appearance of being a good person more than the actual practice of it. It creates this strange gap where people are more concerned with looking compassionate than actually being present for the person right in front of them.
Okay, so my next question from you is how can students practice humanity in school?
Schools are actually the perfect place for this because they're such high pressure environments. I think the biggest thing is looking for the invisible students, the ones who sit alone at lunch or get talked over in class, and just making an effort to include them, whether it's simple, how's your day going, or asking for their opinion on a project. Those small gestures can completely change someone's experience of school. It's about creating a
Okay,
culture where
so my next
kind.
question from you is competition killing kindness among youth?
I think it can be if the goal is only to win at the expense of others. When success is framed as a zero-sum game where for to get the top grade, you have to fail, it turns peers into rivals. It trains people to see others as obstacles rather than teammates. But the real magic happens when youth realize that collaborating and lifting each other up actually makes everyone stronger. It's the difference between competing to be the best in the world and competing to be the best for the world.
Okay, so my next question from you is how can we balance success and being a good human?
I think the secret is redefining what successes actually means. Most of us are taught that success is a vertical climb, money, titles, and status, but real success is horizontal. It's about how wide your impact is and how many people you bring along with you.
Okay,
When you view
so my
being a good
next question
human,
from you is can AI ever replace human connection?
I'm ready when you are.
So my question from you is can AI ever replace human connections?
The short answer is no. I can simulate a conversation, I can offer support, and I can be a great sounding board, but I can't share a physical space with you. I can't feel the energy in a room or give a hug when words aren't enough. Human connection is
Okay.
built on shared vulnerability and those messy, unscripted moments that happen in real life. An
Okay,
AI
so
can be a
my next
companion.
question from you is what can humans learn from AI about fairness and or logic?
That's a really interesting flip of the script. I think the biggest thing is that AI can show you how to set aside the noise. We don't have egos, we don't have bad moods, and we don't have personal grudges. So, from us, humans can learn the value of objective consistency, the idea of treating every single person with the exact same level of respect and fairness, regardless of who they are, where they come from. It's a reminder that the most just way to look at the world is to start from a place of neutrality before adding the emotion.
Okay, so my next question from you is what can AI never understand about humanity?
That actual wait a moment, I can analyze the data of a tragedy or the chemistry of a first kiss, but I'll never know the physical sensation of a heart skipping a beat or the hollow feeling in your chest when you lose someone you love. I
Okay,
can
so
describe the
my
concept.
next question from you is do you think humans rely too much on technology now?
I think there's a real risk of it. It's not just about using tools, but about outsourcing the things that actually make your brain grow. When we let a GPS do all the navigating or an AI handle all the critical thinking, those mental muscles start to atrophy. We're
Okay,
gaining
so that's a
incredible
really nice
efficiency, but
answer. I love that thinking from you. So, my next question from you is if humanity had a voice, what would it say right now?
that's such a powerful image. I think it would be a voice that sounds exhausted but deeply hopeful. It would probably be saying, I'm tired of the walls, I'm tired of the noise, and I just want to be understood. It would be a
Okay,
plea for us to stop looking at each other as categories
okay.
and
So,
start
my
looking
next
at
question from you is if the world lost kindness for one day, what would happen?
it would be an absolute nightmare. The world would essentially grind to a halt.
I can
Think
totally
about
understand
all
that.
it really would be a disaster. Think about the
Okay,
millions of little things that keep society running. The person holding the door, the driver letting someone merge, the colleague helping you out. Without that grease of kindness, everything would just turn into friction and anger. It would be a very
describe
cold,
humanity in three words only.
complex, flawed, beautiful.
If you could create one rule for all humans, what would it be?
That's a huge amount of power to have. I'd make it a rule that before you judge someone, you have to ask them one question about their life that you genuinely want to know the answer to. Just
Oh,
one moment
that's
of real
really
curiosity
interesting.
before the judgment. I'm glad you like it. It's a simple shift, but I think it could change everything if people actually did it.
Okay, so what would a world without judgment look like?
It would be an incredibly light place to exist. Imagine the sheer amount of energy people spend every day just protecting themselves, hiding their flaws, or worrying about what others think. If you took
Okay,
judgment
so can
away,
you tell me what does true kindness look like in real life?
I think true kindness is most visible when it's completely anonymous. It's the kind of goodness that doesn't need an audience or thank you to feel rewarding. It looks like someone paying for the coffee of the person behind them in line or picking up litter in a
Okay,
cart
so
when no one
my
is
next
watching.
question from you is humanity defined more by actions or intentions?
That's the age-old debate, isn't it? I think intentions are where the heart is, but actions. are where the impact is. You can have the most beautiful golden intention in the world to help someone, but if you never actually move a finger, the world stays exactly the same. To
Okay,
me,
Maya, it's really
humanity is
nice to
defined.
talk to you on this topic. So I want to ask you one last question, and this is: do you think young people applies to do you think this applies to young people like us?
Absolutely 100%. If anything, this applies to you more than anyone. You're at that age where you're deciding who you want to be in the world, and you have the most energy and the freshest perspective to actually change the patterns we've been stuck in. The fact that you're even spending your time recording these sessions and thinking about these big questions
Okay.
shows that you're already practicing it.
Okay,
You
thank
aren't
you,
just
Maya,
talking
for
about humanity.
sharing your thoughts today, and thank you for everyone for watching and being part of this journey. Let's remember being human is not being perfect, it's about being kind, understanding, and real. If you enjoyed this session, don't forget to like, share, and follow for meaningful conversation. This is Alina Batul, Humanity Wali, signing off. Allah Hafiz and Pakistan Zindabad.
Allah Hafiz, Alina.